Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fastiano, and today is Wednesday. It's another episode of Sip It or Skip It. If you're not familiar with this episode, I have all of my whiskeys in my collection randomized on my wheel. I'm going to spin it. Whatever it selects, I'm going to pull it off the shelf, do a quick review, and let you know if I'm going to keep sipping on the bottle until it's gone and replace it because I like it. Or once the bottle's gone and I don't like it, I'm going to skip it and move on to something else. So let's go ahead and see what we're doing today. All right, looks like we've got Larceny Barrel Proof B523. And if I'm not mistaken, B523 may have been in Fred Minnick's top 100 or even their top 5. I'm not positive. I know 2 of the 3 releases last year were. So let me go and get this, pour it, and do a quick review. All right, here we go. Larceny B523. Just like always, the information for these whiskeys are right here, along with my tallies for my Sip It or Skip It series up to this point. And I also have a document linked in the description. So if you are curious to see what I've been doing over the course of these 70 plus episodes, if you want to kind of get an idea of what I'm sipping, what I'm skipping, there's a link. You can open that document and take a look. And it's just in numerical order from the very first episode to now. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing on the nose, and I can already smell it. It smells sweet, like breakfast sweet. Got a good amount of spice, and I know originally when I first had this, I thought it came across as pretty wheated, like a wheat roll, a buttered wheat roll, but I'm not really getting that note here. It seems to be pretty much a breakfast maple note along with a cinnamon spice. The ABV is coming across as pretty strong, and I've got to remind myself, I think it's like 120 something. So it's 124.4 proof, 62.2% ABV. Yeah, so that is stinging the nostrils a little bit. Tell you what, it smells really good. The sweetness that I'm getting is a little bit of an apple and a cherry note as well. And maybe for good measure, throw in like a little bit of a pear note as well. Almost like pear skins. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate and tell you what I think. Yep, it's coming in pretty hot. That does now have a buttery roll note on the palate. And even though it's pretty high in the ABV, there is a certain amount of softness that comes with a wheated bourbon. And if you're new, wheated bourbon just means the secondary grain is wheat. Or I should say the highest grain other than corn in the mash bill is going to be wheat. And that's what makes it a wheated bourbon instead of just a wheated whiskey. If it was a wheated whiskey, then it would be at least 51% wheat. I think that's how it goes. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. All right, the longer that this sits, I am getting a good amount of char or barrel on the side of the tongue. It doesn't turn bitter in any way. It stays pretty much that cinnamon spice sweetness. The apple and the cherry note just linger around a little bit. And I did mention it has kind of like a pear note as well. When you eat a pear, there is a grittiness to the skin or to the pulp of the pear itself. And when you chomp on that, it kind of gives you a different kind of note other than an apple. And that's what I'm picking up on. So apple, cherry, and pear, along with some cinnamon spice, a little bit of maple, all around very nice. All right, let's go ahead and get that second sip. I want to try to concentrate a little bit on the finish, see if it lingers around a little bit more than what I just had on that first sip, and then let you know if this is going to be a sip or a skip. Second sip, a little bit more of a buttery note. That ABV is elevating. I can definitely feel it sinking into to the back of my throat, underneath my tongue. Doesn't seem to be coating a whole lot in the mouth. It's not as viscous as I thought it would be. It seems to be a little bit thin, but it's not short on flavor in any way. So don't mistake that thin feeling to lack of flavor, because this is anything but lacking flavor. The longer it sits, I would say that it is a medium to long finish. Even with that thinness of viscosity, it's not really sticking to anything, but it is, like I said, settling to the back of my throat and underneath my tongue. But the dominant note that I am getting is going to be that pear, apple, cherry note with a really good amount of sweet cinnamon spice. And maybe that sweetness in there is also contributed to a vanilla note. I would say vanilla cinnamon. Overall, I think it is a very well-balanced, good tasting wheated bourbon. I think my first bottle of Larceny Barrel Proof was in 2022. I didn't get all of the 2022s, but I did do a First Friday Flight Fight with all the 2023s. And I might be mistaken, but I have to take a look. I think this one may have taken top honors in that flight. But based on what I'm getting out of this glass, I wouldn't be surprised if this took first place. So is this going to be a sip or a skip? You probably already know. Based on the ABV, all of those fruit notes, the apple, the pear, the cherry, a little bit of vanilla and cinnamon. It does drink a little bit hot, but not too hot. So this is definitely going to be a sip for me. And when I say a sip for me, this individual bottle will be a sip. I know there are some bottles that may be a little bit better than others, and the whole purpose of this video is to let you know if this individual bottle would be repurchased or not, if I'm gonna keep sipping on this or if I'm gonna skip it. And this individual bottle for this release, B523, is definitely going to be a sip. How about you? Have you had all of the Larcenys from last year? Let me know in the comments down below. I know this is coming out in 2024, so please let me know if you've had any of the releases of 2024 and what you thought of them. If you're liking this video and you're not subscribed, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, turn on that bell notification because I produce and release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This was a pretty simple one. It's a sip. What do you think? Again, let me know in the comments down below. And wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. Until the next time, we'll talk to you later.